Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another Silver Age horror film from 1959, and it is The Killer Shrews, which is part of this 50 horror classics pack. Now, if you're wondering why I'm chuckling, it's because it was an independently made sci-fi horror B-movie. Of course, in the 1950s, well into the Silver Age, it wasn't so much monsters anymore, even though 59 Hammer had already started doing their monster remakes. But it was sort of the science age, whether it be, have to deal with nuclear stuff and radiation or science gone wrong. This is a very low budget science gone wrong film. Now, you think about Killer Shrews. If you don't know what a shrew is, it's like a little rat, like a little mouse, a little vermin. But this film, it takes place on an island, and first off, I don't even know any of the stars. It's directed by Ray Kellogg, who was actually, I think, known for his special effects. He also directed the giant Gila monster, which is also part of this set. And I'm guessing he did the special effects, which there really isn't much for effects in this film at all, which I'll get to. Stars James Best, who I guess mostly known for Dukes of Hazzard. Ingrid Goude, Swedish actress. She was in... Don't really see any other horror films listed. Ken Curtis, Barack Lumet. Again, not really in much of anything. So yeah, movie's not very popular. Actually, I think where this movie got most of its popularity was on an episode of Mystery Science Theater, which I didn't see it on Mystery Science Theater. I just watched it for the first time. But there's a lot of movies on here, being public domain, that was on Mystery Science Theater. Like, I have seen as an episode of that Beast of Yucca Flats, Bloodlust, Brain That Wouldn't Die. I think I've seen The Corpse Vanishes. Tormented, The Terror, if it wasn't, it should have been. Screaming Skull. Yeah. Quite a few. And also, but I have known, there's not even anything on there. I don't know why I'm holding that up. Jesus, I'm tired today. I knew about the Killer Shrews because of Ernest Scared Stupid, which I will review after this. Because Ernest Scared Stupid has the best opening credits, which I'll talk about when I do that. So the Killer Shrews, 1959, is basically just, there's these two guys on a boat. They bring supplies out to this remote island where there's the scientist, his assistant, and the scientist's daughter. She's engaged to one of the guys on the boat. They bring them supplies, and the scientist has this hypothesis. He has this idea, or if he can create this serum that will shrink human beings down half a size, we will, it will help with problems related to overpopulation, such as eating all the food in the world. That's how simple the ideas were back then. So he tests it on shrews. However, it has an adverse effect. It makes them giant shrews, and ravenous. And it gets to the point where the shrews break out of where they're being held. They eat all the natural animals on the island, and then, you know, the livestock, like, they even eat a horse. Of course, you don't see it. You hear it. It's implied. And then the shrews are just trying to get inside the house. So it's pretty much like a really lame version of fucking, like, Night of the Living Dead. And it's very laughable because the shrews are obviously, like, mid-sized dogs. Like, probably retrievers or something. And the effect is just like a fur coat or some bit of long fur and a tail thrown on the dog. And there's like 4 or 5 of them. And that's what we see when we see them running around. Up close, you can tell it's like a hand puppet because they're very like their jaw, very laughable. I will say when they're very up close, you actually get to see them. It was like, okay, kind of a decent effect. No blood or anything. I mean, you get like 2 characters that get like ripped apart. One is a guy that like climbs a tree, but he like falls down. You don't see much. The other one is like the alcoholic guy who kind of dies the same way Peter Stormare does in The Lost World. Like, he falls over a log, and they all just kind of jump over. So, like, this is the log. You even at one, you see him kind of moving around with them swarming him, and at one point you just see his legs go like this as he's like screaming. Very silly. The other 2 deaths, they get bit, and I guess with the effect of the serum, there's like this very toxic agent in their saliva, so you die almost instantly if you get bit. And you get really... It is very cheesy and silly. I mean, it is a B movie. It did belong on Mystery Science Theater 3000. But I was still entertained by it. You know, especially when you consider like how dramatic like the music is and everything. You know, like they're able to chew through like walls, so you get like these funny little hand puppets like going crazy at like these holes in the walls. They take all these like, I'm guessing like fuel tanks, like fuel drums, cut the bottom out of it, make like a little slit, put a few of them together, and they just put it over themselves. They just kind of use that as armor to get to the beach, because the boat is anchored way out there and the skiff is somewhere else. And the only thing they really throw in there to like liven it up is the one guy that's engaged to the daughter is a raging alcoholic. So, you know, there's some tension that she falls in love with the other guy from the boat. So you have like the tension between those 2. And that's really all. I mean, it's 68 minutes long. It's just 8 minutes over an hour. It's very short. Not much to talk about. It is very laughable, very silly, very cheesy. But I kind of get its charm. I was a little disappointed in it, because even though there's a very short clip in the opening credits of Ernest, like just a short clip of the daughter screaming, and then like one of the shrews like coming through a wall. I thought it was going to be more, I don't really know. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess you just been watching a lot of more like gothic classic horror films. This one was more sci-fi related, but yeah, barely 10-minute review. Really not much to talk about. It is very silly, but you know, if you like old B movies, you'll probably enjoy it. Other than that, you're probably not, because it is very laughable. Anyway, Killer Shrews. That's it.